It finally happened, folks. It's about time that this got done. Mike Garafolo had the report. The Miami Dolphins have signed Jonah Savaiinaea to his contract. He was the only player that Miami selected that wasn't signed. And we have documented the drought of second-round pick signing very in depth here at the channel. And then we talked about it yesterday on how when the 49ers signed Alfred Collins to his second round deal, this would start to create a domino effect where other second rounders sign. And it officially happened. The 37th pick, Jonah Savaiinaea, is under contract with the Miami Dolphins just a couple days before Dolphins veterans report to training camp. And just a couple initial thoughts. One, I'm extremely happy that this saga is finally over and Miami got it done with Savaiinaea so he can report to camp and start getting on the football field. But I'll be honest, I'm shocked. The Dolphins, I don't know if they caved, I don't know what you want to call it, but they ended up giving Jonah a fully guaranteed rookie deal. Now, I don't think it really matters to that big of a point because it's not that large of a contract. It's 4 years for about $11.3 million. It's just like, well, why is it a big deal if you give a person that you believe in a lot, you traded up to go draft him, guaranteed money when on an annual average basis, it's just over about $2 million. So it's really not that big of a contract to begin with. Thought we were splitting over hairs here. It ultimately becomes fully guaranteed. If you look at all of the other second rounders that got fully guaranteed deals, Carson Schlesinger, the 33rd pick, Jayden Higgins at 34, Nicky Manwari at 35, Luther Burden at 39, and then now Miami here at 37 with Jonah Savaiinaea. And I'm happy about it. I'm just happy to get this saga over with, and we're going to talk about Jonah more in depth on this offensive line in the rest of today's video, but I wanted to share the news with all of you first. And this is why you subscribe to the channel for Dolphins news and more coverage, because when Dolphins news happens, we're going to make content about it, react to it, break it down. So join the channel, under 200 subscribers away from 71K. Let's get there ASAP. Join us here at Dolphins Today. I'm just happy that we no longer, when mentioning Jonah Savaiinaea on this channel, have to talk about, well, he's not signed. He's not under contract. No, he is. Let's go kick some butt now, man. I'm fired up about this culture change in Miami because when we have seen what Chris Grier has done all offseason long, what have we have detailed on the channel? We've talked about how they have went younger, which has been one of the craziest. They went from top 5 oldest team in football to now they're a bottom 10. So they're top 10 in youth in terms of their average roster age. And they have also added a lot of trenches. James Daniels, Savaiinaea, Kenneth Grant, Zeke Biggers, Jordan Phillips. I like what Miami has done, and I like that they're becoming a more physical football team. And it all started with Jonah Savaiinaea being traded up for and drafted with the 37th overall pick. And there's a lot to love about this selection too, which is something I'm really excited to see in the 305 is his versatility. He spent 3 years as a starter at the University of Arizona. His first year as a starter, he was solely a right tackle. His second year, he moved inside and played right guard. And then his final year, so this past season, he played half of his snaps at right tackle, half of his snaps at left tackle. So he has the capability, in my opinion, to maybe be someone who quickly subs in and plays left tackle. We know he can play right tackle. But for this Dolphins football team this season, he is going to predominantly play on the interior offensive line at left guard or right guard. Now, where, that remains to be seen, and we'll kind of have a little bit of that discussion coming up here in a little bit. But he is a day one contributor, a day one starter. And he had really good numbers last season in the run and the pass. And when you look at his career PFF numbers as well as a blocker, they stand out even more. He has a lot of versatility to him. When you looked at what he did at the NFL Draft Combine, his speed and change of direction really stood out to me. And the reason why this is such a good fit, in my opinion, is I will always circle back and look at the run blocking grades throughout his career and how they were significantly better in zone run blocking schemes compared to gap run blocking schemes. Obviously, if I'll explain a little bit more here if you are unaware of what these mean. Zone is more of where You are shifting as the snap happens. You're not more or less blocking a man. You are more or less blocking a zone. It requires a lot of athleticism, a lot of IQ, and a lot of understanding of the system. Gap is more or less power, pulling guard up the middle, getting a man and putting him on his ass. And to me, when you think of what Mike McDaniel in this Dolphins offense is, it's predominantly zone. It's a lot of wide zone stretch plays, a lot of end arounds, a lot of halfback tosses. And Jonah will just kind of seamlessly fit into the scheme and offense. And it's why there was another offensive guard that I wasn't really sold on Miami drafting, the one from Alabama, Tyler Booker, because he really struggled when he was required to get out in space and be an athlete. He's much more of a mauler, a physical guy. I just don't think that is what Miami needed. Jonah fit this scheme better. They traded up to grab Savaiinaea, and now they finally get him under contract so he can go work. And I'm glad this is all put behind us now, man. I really am. Couldn't be happier. I think most of you were able to tell based off my excitement and smile on today's show, because this is just something that needed to get done. It got done, and now we need to go see how he can perform on the football field and where he slides in on this offensive line. More to come here on today's show, but shout out to Mando for sponsoring this episode of Dolphins Today. And as summer continues to roll on and we get in the training camp where it's hot and sweaty, Mando's whole body deodorant will have you covered. More heat equals more sweat, which equals more stink potential. And you've got to be ready, and I'm not messing around with my deodorant. And I have great news. Mando has just launched something that takes sweat control to the next level, introducing the Mando Deodorant Plus Sweat Control Solid Stick. It's double protection, so finally, you get the odor control you love with Mando, plus powerful sweat control. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, plus free shipping. One of my favorite products outside of the new sweat control solid stick is the deodorant wipes, because I run a lot of errands. I am always traveling. I'm going to Virginia Beach this upcoming week. I'll have the deodorant wipes with me, so if I need to freshen up on the go, whether I'm at the beach or just out having some drinks with the fam, I can still make sure I'm not the smelly person in the room. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers get 20% off site-wide with our exclusive code CHAT. Use code CHAT at shopmando.com for 20% off site-wide plus free shipping. shopmando.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Mando's got you covered. Protect your pits. Smell great doing it. Links in the description and comments of today's video. Shout out to Mando for making sure I'm always smelling cool. All right, let's use the second half of this video to talk about where does the offense stand, more or less the offensive line, and how this team needs to be better and well-adjusted. I have consistently said it. I am going to consistently say it until I am told otherwise by the actions of this football team. I believe Jonah Savaiinaea should be your starting right guard. I do. It just makes so much more sense to kind of layer out this O-line and spread it out and give it more consistency with him playing at right guard. It just does. Like, you have 2 veterans that I trust at a very high level with Austin Jackson and Aaron Brewer. Both of, when healthy, it's more or less speaking on Jackson here, are top half players at their position. Aaron Brewer was a top center or top 10 center in football last season for Miami. And then you have the veteran Daniels pair up next to the first-time full-year starter in Patrick Paul to help ease him, help ease the communication, make sure he's all set. It just is so much smarter, in my opinion, to have him play at right guard. Now, if you feel that confident in Jonah and Patrick Paul as both first-time full-year starters in the NFL to play next to each other, go ahead. That's your prerogative. You see him in practice. You see him in the locker room, in the film room every day. I don't. I just think as an outside viewer and as we get into training camp, it makes more sense to have the young left tackle next to a veteran and have the young right guard sandwiched in between 2 top half veterans in their own right. It just makes more sense to me. It balances out this offensive line, and each player is interchangeable, so if it needs to be changed, it can be, but I like playing Jonah at right guard at least to start off his career. Make the call, though. Where do you think Jonah Savaiinaea should play on this O-line? Do you think it should be the left guard or the right guard spot? Pin comment on today's show. Go let me know your thoughts. Type LG for the left guard. Type RG for the right guard. Going to round out the show by taking a brief look at the offensive line last year, but also I wanted to revisit this quote from the aforementioned veteran offensive guard, James Daniels, when speaking about Jonah Savaiinaea after OTAs and minicamp. He said that Jonah reminds him of his old teammates and one of his good friends, Isaac Seumalo, who's one of the top offensive guards in all of football right now. They have very similar movements and stuff. He's always texting me. He's always texting other players asking for advice. So it's always working after practice. I'm excited to see his development. And when you see such high praise from a veteran teammate, it should just fire you up as a fan and just give you more confirmation that this front office, although it has made a lot of bad decisions in the past, made a good decision to trade up and taking him at pick 37. We've told you the story, but I'll remind you if you forgot that the New England Patriots were projected to take Savaiinaea with the 38th pick. It's been kind of widely confirmed that was going to happen. Miami sniped them, jumped in front of them to take Jonah at 37. And that just makes me like this pick even more and excited for his future, knowing that our division rival was really going to take him as well. So you get the high praise, the conviction that this front office had to trade up and get him. It just makes me so much happier that this man is on my football team. But it also will help improve this offensive line, a group that was horrific a year ago. They were bottom 5 in the NFL in terms of their PFF grade as a whole. They were bottom 5 in their pass block win rate. They were bottom 6 in their run block win rate. A consensus bottom 5 offensive line in football. It's the reason why the offense took a dive off of the cliff, because they couldn't run it in short yard situations, and the offense was not just able to be as consistent as it was under Mike McDaniel in 2022 and 2023. And these numbers just disgust me even more. Their rushing down first down percentage was 20.7%, the worst in football. Means they were dead last in amount of runs that got first downs. Just simply unacceptable. And their yards per carry were tied for 27th as well. Like, everything that you looked from a year ago, this tells you how bad the offensive line was. I'm sick of it, and I'm glad I don't have to hopefully worry about it being this bad again in 2025. I'm excited to go get after it. With that O-line we showed, I'm just hoping and praying they stay healthy for at least the entire preseason. So when we go line it up against the Colts in week 1, that starting 5 that we showed on screen on today's show is that starting unit. And I just hope they're going to be able to stay healthy and play the majority of the games together, because health is key in the NFL. And if your starting offensive line can stay healthy for at least 80% of the season, you're probably going to be in a good spot, unless you just have the 5 worst players imaginable out there, which is kind of what Miami has had anyway over the past couple of years. All right, I'll do it for today's show. This is why you subscribe, though, because when Dolphins news drops, we react and have you covered. So join us for more of the top-notch coverage around the Miami Dolphins on YouTube.